Yes, how's it going? So I made a couple of videos recently, instructional videos on lucid dreaming, and in one of them I said this. For example, a lot of men, when they go into a lucid dream experience, their immediate goal is to have sex with as many people as possible, or to just have sex with whoever they want, and this is really a pretty lame plan of action, to be honest, because we're really just feeding into sexual desire, we're feeding into sensory stimulation, and when we do that, we're going to return our mental state towards a state of ignorance pretty quickly, and when we do that, we're going to lose lucidity and we're going to lose any opportunity that we may have had to have some measure of control over the dream experience. But even after that, I still received comments like these. So let's just be clear. This whole event took place in your mind, so the only real conquest you can lay claim to by doing this is yourself. So yeah, you got laid by you. Lucid dreaming isn't always easy, you know, it takes time, commitment and practice to develop our ability, so I think it's kind of sad really when a lot of people, especially men, when they do eventually manage to achieve a lucid dream, they just direct their focus towards sexual acts. In the West, it seems like lucid dreaming is promoted mainly as a form of entertainment, which it can definitely be that, but it can be so much more than just that. In the spiritual traditions of India and Tibet, there is a meditation practice called dream yoga that is practiced during the daytime while we're awake, and then the second part of that practice is performed at nighttime while we're asleep. Dream yoga is a type of lucid dreaming that is used to develop our minds and manage our emotions more intelligently so that our behavior becomes less impulsive and then we begin to suffer less as a result. It's used as a means for cultivating more self-awareness, peacefulness, equanimity and compassion, and it's a way of working directly with the subtle meridian channels of the body, and ultimately it's used as a kind of practice run for dying. Because if we cultivate mindful awareness during the dream state, we're going to be much more likely to maintain some degree of awareness, clarity and influence throughout the death experience and whatever may follow it. Now there's a lot of incredible stories about the accomplishments of Indian and Tibetan yogis and the kind of things that have been achieved through the dream yoga practice. Now one story I heard was from the first half of last century about a man who could no longer use his legs and he completely lost all feeling in his lower limbs. His condition wasn't responding to any of the treatment that he was receiving and it was diagnosed as permanent. So the man practiced meditation diligently during the day, and at nighttime he practiced dream yoga. Every night he would fall asleep, and shortly after dreams commenced he would achieve lucidity, and he had one single pointed objective while lucid: to walk and walk as far as his dream legs would carry him. He walked through his lucid dreams every single night, across mountains, through the snow, whatever the dream environment, he would walk through it. And he did this for months and months, until one morning he awoke to a tingling sensation in his legs. The man continued walking through his lucid dreams, and as the time passed, more and more sensation began to return to his withered limbs, until one day he stood up and took the first physical steps that he'd taken in many years. Gradually, he learned to walk again, and he realized that his lucid dreams had become waking reality. So he began to explore the mountainous terrain that surrounded where he lived, and when the People's Liberation Army of China invaded Tibet in 1950, he escaped and made the treacherous journey across the Himalayas to India by foot. There are many stories like this of yogis and mountain hermits from this region, but of course this is just a story, right? There's no scientific proof or anything to back this up. But then science wouldn't really be the ideal way of explaining or understanding this anyway. Logic and reductionist rational thinking doesn't always make a lot of sense when we apply it to the dreaming mind, where literally anything and everything is possible regardless of scientific reasoning. But from the perspectives of dream yoga, Tibetan medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, this dream walking was essentially exercising the subtle anatomy of meridian channels and energy centers, which over the course of time had a very healing and strengthening impact on the physical body. Hence, the legs began to work again. So the mind healed the body. And this is something that can be validated by science, because basic mindfulness breathing meditation has been proven to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, increase healing and repair, regulate the cardiovascular system, improve digestion, enhance immune function, elevate mood, all of this and more, and it doesn't even need to be viewed as a spiritual practice. So you don't need to be a Buddhist or a yogi, you don't need to be from Tibet or India, you don't actually need to have any particular belief system at all. Yet through the practice of lucid dreaming, you can direct the mind to carry out immense healing work on any level you choose. Now in Tibetan medicine, it's said that any healing work carried out through the dream state is at least 10 times more potent than the equivalent healing work done while we're awake. So the key point here is to figure out your area of greatest need and focus on untying those knots while you're asleep. Now, if you want to know how to go about having a lucid dream, you can watch these tutorials here. And remember, this is a dream.